back, listeners, to the BizBlend, the podcast where business meets purpose and strategy aligns with the soul. I'm your host, Sana, as always, and today's conversation is one I have been especially excited about. We are diving deep into the journey of someone who took everything she learned at the top levels of strategy consulting. Now, think Oliver Wyman and pivoted toward building something more aligned, more impactful, and frankly, more human. Listeners, meet Leila Lehbabi. She is a strategist, author, and founder who helps purpose driven leaders scale by unlocking high performing talent and creating leadership autonomy. Her upcoming book, The $1 Billion Purpose, it explores how conscious companies like Patagonia and Airbnb scale sustainably, like outperforming the competition while also nurturing, respecting their people. And we are going to unpack what it means to scale from inside out, why culture and mindset beat out even the best strategy, and how Leela's journey can help entrepreneurs like you grow without burnout. So, with that, Leela, welcome to the show, and it's such an honor to have you with us.
Thank you, Sana. I'm really glad to be here with you. And what a beautiful presentation. I loved it. I love the summary. Thank you for that.
Great, thank you so much for your kind words, Leela. And I mean, you started at Oliver Wyman advising some of the most influential business leaders. I mean, what was the turning point that made you realize that traditional strategy alone wasn't enough?
Yeah. So I was young, at some point when you were young, you do what you're being told to do. At least this is what I did. Until what I found out is we had great strategies, but most of them didn't get fully implemented for different reasons. Like one of the reasons was leadership was not aligned with that. The second reason is lots of burnout within team. And third reason is the link between strategy and execution. And when you go into the ground, if you have people that not aligned with you and aligned with what you want to achieve, then you can have the best strategy in the world. It's difficult to
Mm.
make it work on the ground. And it was also a personal journey when I reached the burnout. Like I was always trying to do all the benchmarks, trying to see what are the best strategies, what could work, and I spent endless hours on that. And then when I experienced burnout myself, I asked myself, what's the point in doing all that? You know? And now sometimes I find that in on founders that I work with, and one of my clients told me one day, she requested some advices from a more advanced founder, and he gave her all the solutions, like you should do this, 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 and you should do this, and you should do this. And at the end, she didn't do any of that. And I asked her, why? She was, it's so overwhelming. I don't know even when to start, right? So
Yeah.
having a great strategy is amazing. But if you don't have the inner enabler within your organization, the leadership within yourself, the growth, the confidence, the resilience, it's difficult to transform this strategy into an impact on the ground.
Mm. That is so true, and I resonate with that shift with because there definitely is a gap between what's on paper and what actually happens on the ground, especially when you are at the forefront in a human led businesses. Um, and also talking about your company Mind Impact, Leela, it helps leaders hit not 100 but 153% performance with less effort. So what's behind this 153%, and also how exactly that transformation looks like in practice?
Yes. So the one 53% is a combination of a different like percentage in a methodology that I call the CLAP methodology, right?
Okay.
So CLAP is the collective intelligence is being able like so the C is for collective. It's moving from having being the only person that innovate within your company to having a team around you that collectively innovate, and this collective intelligence like it increases the performance of the company by like 40%. L is for leadership, right? Like if you're collective intelligent and then you have the best ideas collectively, and then you don't have this embodied leadership to make it happen, then it will not translate in the ground to a meaningful impact. So there is a like leveling up your leadership enables you to be again more performance. Like you can reach 25% more performance on that. And then you have the A, which is the autonomy. So the autonomy of your team. And I love telling my clients, like, if you spend your time telling your employees what to do, you will have always employees that will wait for you to tell them what to do. And you will start to be the bottleneck of your business because all the ideas, all the things that need to be done rely on you. So if you get sick, if you don't want to work, if you, I don't know, so many things can happen in life, right? So if you don't have an autonomous team, then it's difficult to build something which is sustainable because as soon as you stop for any personal or professional reason, then your business will stop. So this is uh, the autonomy helps you drive even more performance, right? And then so we talked about the C, the L, A, and the P. So the P is for people. And it's really important, especially now that we talk about AI and that AI can do anything and so on. But the people AI can automate, it's
Mhm.
people who innovate, right? It's people who are connected to people. It's people who sell to people. It's people who buy your product. It's not an AI that buys your product. If you have an AI that buys your product, it will cost $0, so you don't have any business, right? So it's the connection to people, and it's a business that is people to people. Of course, AI can like streamline things, can make them um, more efficient, uh, can help you reach out to more people and so on. Of course, but at the core of it, it's a connection between people and people. So if you answer people's needs, if you have people with you within the company that are aligned with your mission and are motivated to give forward, if you have people that are your supplier that help you do what you don't do and then complement your offering, if you have people that invest in you, invest in your business, that are investors, right, that are bringing money, and if you have like it's the five, so what did they talk about? Like, and the people who buy from you, of course, so your consumers. So yeah, this methodology, like when you took all those 4 points together and it has a compounding effect. And this compounding effect helps you drive the performance of your company to 153% better than what you're doing today.
Oh, now I got it. That 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 is such a creative approach towards this entire concept. Uh, you know, less effort and more impact, and it definitely challenges many of our assumptions around hustle culture. Um, so um, in your
Yeah, I would love to talk on that, on the hustle culture, because if you give me the permission to that, of course, it's because I experienced burnouts personally. Then I said, no, like I cannot, like the hustle is not working for me. So how can I do it differently? And then being a mom of two little ones, I was like, okay, so how can I consolidate all of that? How can I be a mom and then be a business owner and then deliver on the ground? I cannot do it by myself, right? So I need to innovate on the way we're delivering value and need to innovate on the way we can scale business without losing ourselves in the process. And surrounding yourself with the right people and taking leverages based on the autonomy, the leadership on the other people helps you make the execution possible without you being like the only one who is responsible of the execution. This is what makes scaling like easier, funnier. It's oh my God, you work with people. It's funnier than working alone, right? Funnier and more enjoyable and sustainable because you can keep doing it as you're not losing yourself into the process.
Absolutely. That is so true. And in your book, Leela, you explore, uh, you know, like a case study, like how companies like Patagonia, they scale while also staying true to their mission. And, you know, uh, that is quite rare because sometimes companies, they go by their vision at the beginning, but
Yeah.
when scaling, either they have to pivot or sometimes they kind of deviate from what they have envisioned. So, what's that common thread you have seen across all these high impact businesses?
I love this question. And I want to explain a little bit the difference and the link by bringing mindfulness into the discussion, if you don't mind, because I'm going to talk about something which is in human psychology that is our reaction to fear. Our reaction to fear, we have the fight, fly, freeze, right? So either we freeze, we don't do anything about it, either we fight it, or either so fight, fly, or either we disconnect from it and we say like we ignore it. So this is a kind of a reaction, and then there is to go out from the reaction, you need to be really connected to yourself, to your leadership, to your strength, to your resilience, to have a response instead of a reaction. But why I'm talking about this here, it's because actually what happens is like as you scale your business, you scale the revenues, you scale the number of employees, you scale the number of clients, you scale all of that and you scale problems, right? So when you scale problems, the thing that could happen is to have fear and to experience fear, right? And when you experience fear, it's like, oh my God, this is not going to work. Oh my God, how am I going to pay my employees at the end of the month? Oh my God, am I going to be able to keep my business and like survive? You start to be in survival mode. And if you don't deal with these inner issues that makes you stick to the survival mode and your mind that is like telling you a lot of stories, some of them could be true, but not all of them, like, right? Some of that are like just thinking about the future. If you don't do that, you will try to start listening to other people and listening to other people instead of listening to so what creates your business and alignment and mission is like listening to your own voice. And when you start listening to other people, it's like telling to yourself, I don't have the solutions for my problem, I cannot handle my problem. So you delegate that to other people, and the other people, like, they're not within you, right? They don't know your purpose as you do. They're not as attached to that, and they start advising you on strategies that worked and telling you a lie that is completely not true, that if you don't do it this way, then your business will die. Then, if you don't follow this rule and this thing, and if you don't like do this thing, you know, and they start telling you things that sometimes are not aligned with your values, not aligned with your mission, and are using the fear in order for you to take actions that are against your alignment. So what some companies do is like they go into that and then disconnect from this alignment, and then they go and they push and they do the actions that others are doing. So they really go away from their initial missions. Of course, those strategies have been proven to work. Sometimes they do work. I'm not saying like you just have mindful strategies that works. No, sometimes they do work. The difference is like they work, you could have the success, but sometimes you lose yourself into the process. You can have the success, but without the fulfillment, because you feel that what you have started is not the business that you have today. And you start having some problems that are around employees retention, that are around quality of your product, that are around your branding, that starts to have like negative feedback, and all those kind of things could be draining, right? Because you start to say, oh my God, I have created this. Is this my business? Is this what it looks like today? So this is a standard approach, right? And then when you start having, of course, investors and with you within your company, they also try to push for the profits. So what the other companies have been able to do differently, one of the key points is the talent retention. So for example, Patagonia, they have a turnover of only 4%. Only 4%. You know, I mean, when I saw this number, I was like, "Oh my God, only 4%?" And when you see like all the efforts that companies are making, like to attract people, to try to retain them, they don't have to do it. It's effortless. And when you lose a talent, the cost of it is 50 to 200% of their annual salary. It's huge. And you lose this person, you lose their knowledge, you lose the history, you lose the alignments with your business. And sometimes when you lose them uh, on a conflictual relationship, then like your brand is starting to have some issues. So we are back here to the human parts of business, foundation of business, of leadership. And those people, and so for example, Patagonia or Salesforce or Toyota, so I can take different examples. So for example, Patagonia, they were able to uh, have like a retention, really high retention, and they also scale their mission. So as you scale your business, you know, you're still aligned with what you had done as an action, but then, you can think a bit broader. So they moved from being like just a company that does what it has to do and that sells goods to a company that plays a role in the ecosystem, that plays a role in sustainability, that plays a role and the movement. So the clients that comes to this company are clients that are aligned with her values. Okay. And the employees that work for this company are employees that aligned with those values, the suppliers, everything. So it's a model where they create value for people that are aligned with them. And by that, they collect value because they have a longer customer lifetime value. They have, so it means repeatable business. And a repeatable business is one of the best things that you can have for your business because you're not spending your time on your marketing and those things that are really costly, marketing, sales, advertising, all that, like it's really small when you have a repeatable business. You have a repeatable business, you have people that stay with you, that have the expertise and that grow within your company and become more and more expert in what they do. You have the same suppliers that work with you and like a product that everyone loves. And that's it, right? You don't need more than that to attract your cli- clients because having a product that everyone loves, they come back, you have great margins and great suppliers, great relationship. Like, what else? Right? So this is Patagonia. For Salesforce, also, they also play a big mission. And those people and those companies, they do what I'll call like you take care of your employees, and your employees take care of your business. Right? So you take care of them, they take care of your business. You cannot be an expert at all the skills. So if you can take care of your people, this is the skill that you need to develop. And then you have the best people that do what they're best at, and they can also teach you how to do it. It's also Steve Jobs that said, I think it's Steve Jobs, but probably someone else. Like you can hire people that are more skilled than you and learn from them, right? This is what it's about. And I will add and take care of them. Toyota, for example, they have a culture which is more a Japan culture, right? And in Japan culture, they have something which is called I don't remember. Uh, I don't remember the concept, but one concept that is about continuously adapting and continuously learning from what you have done. So they're always chasing to be better at something. And they have the open door policy. So the open door policy means like anyone within the company can bring an idea to the CEO. So the door of the CEO is always open. You can be like someone on the ground, you can be an operational guy, you can be like a manager, you can whatever position you have in the company, your idea is welcomed. So they unlocked this power of collective intelligence, especially of people that are on the ground and know best the products, they know best the clients because they interact with those every day. They have the opportunity to speak up, to be listened to, and have their ideas being considered. This changes everything.
Mm. And some of the most important business entrepreneurship 101 lessons, especially for I think startups and all the newer companies out there, because I right now in this digital world, I think competition is anything but fierce. I mean, uh, sometimes, as you beautifully connected that individually we often talk about this fight or flight mode, and we talk about mindfulness, but in context of running a business, scaling a business sustainably with respecting your people, I think you connected it so beautifully, because I think this I haven't come across such an observation in my conversations. But yes, the overall gist is very much the same. You respect your people, you respect your employees, and they, respect you back. They'll contribute in your business, and you will learn new skills from them. I mean, for a leader, especially, it is so so relevant. Um, and I think this was such a brilliant way you explained this, and also such great examples you mentioned.
Thank you, Sana.
Okay, and also now, since I mentioned about startups, we often see that either they survive through the first 5 years, or
Yeah.
most of the startups they close within the first 5 years of their inception. So for them, scaling or pivoting or sustaining themselves is so important.
Yeah.
Uh, and for founders who are scaling, but they're starting to feel disconnected from their purpose, what's the first step back to alignment?
I think the first step back to alignment of their business is a step back alignment to themselves, right? A step back alignment to why they're doing this. What is their purpose? What will make them happy? What will make them fulfilled? What are they trying to achieve? And those questions could seem like simple or I hear some startup founders say, "Oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to think about that." But then they think that they are like losing time, but actually they are winning time. Why they are winning time? Because one of the reasons why startups are not able to scale is like they spread themselves too thin. As a chief executive officer, what I say like about a startup, like you think you're a chief executive officer, but like you're actually a chief everything officer in the beginning, right? You're the chief of marketing, you're the chief of finances, you're the chief of product, you're the chief of sales, you're the chief of everything. And what could happen is like they chase the shiny objects. And this is why I say like the first step to alignment is back to self, right? Chasing shiny objects, willing to do everything at once. And the common and really known Pareto rule is like 80% of your results are driven by 20% of your efforts. So everyone knows that. Like if you talk to any startup founder, you said, yeah, I know that. But then on the execution, they don't actually do it. Why? Because they don't take time to reflect. They don't take the time to get back. So they think that this hour that they will spend is a loss of time, but 1 hour helps them get back 80% of their week because they're organizing things effectively and they're using the domino effect. The domino effect is like, what is the action that I can do today that if I do it, everything
Mhm.
else is not needed?
True.
And if you don't
And
do
one
that,
thing that
especially when you raise money, it's like, okay, now I have money. Let me recruit a lot of people and do a lot of things. This is really dangerous.
well, mm, it's and one thing I would also like to add here that what we have started with the product or service, it kind of creates a wall between the feedback given by, let's say, the marketing team or the customer service team or the sales team who are working at the forefront. They're interacting with your clients, with your customers, or with the leads. Uh, you know, giving you feedback on the product or so. So sometimes it wall that are question that you uh, longing. Okay, and this is what created, and I don't question. I think that about yes, I am susceptible to feedback the versions of my product or service.
Absolutely. So this is one of the issues of scaling. It's like you move from chief everything officer to having people that are responsible of the different activities. And you know, when you bring people in, like you bring the human the human interactions with it and human interactions you have like the ego of different people um the fact that they get along together they so and there is a really interesting statistic that says like for example in US companies they lose 4 hours per employee per week on conflicts.
Mhm.
So if you don't get along, then like how can you build your business if you don't invest on this human connection, on this alignment with the mission, on this working collectively together, adapting together, listening to each other? Those are skills. And what I believed for a while is like you have those skills or you don't have them. So either you hire someone who has the skills or he doesn't. But actually, those are also learnable skills that we have not been taught at school, for sure, at least me. It didn't teach me that. But we can learn them and we can learn them at any time. And learning them within a company is one of the best levers that you can use to scale your business because it's costs you a lot less to train your people to belong together and to work together than to recruit a lot of people just to find out that all those things don't fit together, and then keeping your time, your energy, your money into recruiting and firing, recruiting and firing, recruiting and firing. So, yeah, getting along together and training your people of the different part of your business to collaborate collectively, from the product to the market to the feedback on of the clients to the fine tunings, all those people need to work really, really closely together, because at the end, your customer doesn't care about who did what. He doesn't care about who's the head of finance, who's the head of marketing, who's the head of product. He doesn't care. He just care about his product or service and the service that go with it and the price and the satisfaction. And at the end, all those people work together for the same objective: getting profits on the business to sustain it over time by delivering great value to your client, to have more clients and have more clients coming often to your business.
True, true. Great, great. Yeah, I think this has been such an enlightening and informative, of course, with such great examples, numbers. I think there has been enough proof to prove that yes, definitely, companies or startups can sustainably scale with aligning to their vision, and of course respecting people in this digital world especially. So if our listeners would like to connect with you, Leela, and also get access to your upcoming book, The $1 Billion Purpose, how they can do that?
So today, what they can access is a free 27 minutes training. I will share with you the link. It's my name and then underscore impact at scale, that goes into my approach step by step, so that really they can understand its approach, understand what problems it's solving, what standard companies are doing that is not working, and what to do instead. So they can have that. And this is a summary of the approach that I'm showing in the book, right? So you spend 27 minutes and then you have the hindsight of what I'm sharing in the book, and it's free. So I will share the link with you. And also, once they get there, when the book release will be shown, so when in the book release, they will also receive, as I will have their emails, a mail from me saying, "Hey, like my book has been released. If you want to grab it, then you can click here." But for now, I have like this link to this 27 minutes training, so they can get insights without waiting too much. Sounds good?
Absolutely. I'll have all the links in the show notes for our listeners. And thank you so much, Leela, for sharing not just your expertise, but your heart. And definitely the insights reminds all of us that success isn't just about scaling up, it's about scaling deep into who we are, how we lead, and the impact we want to create. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sana, for this beautiful conversation. It was a pleasure being with you today.
And to all of our listeners, if today's conversation has sparked something in you, whether it's a desire to lead differently or rethink your growth strategy, make sure you check out all the show notes, all the links in the show notes to connect with Leela and her resources and her upcoming book. And until next time, keep blending business with soul right here on BizBlend.